What up, boys and girls? What's Next Podcast in the house? You know me, your boy Chris, Maximum Prime. Say hello.
Hola, sí.
Today we have Wallace Dunn, a good buddy, a good friend, Wallace Dunn.
Friend of the podcast here.
Wallace,
howdy, everybody.
One of our few friends of the podcast.
Yeah, one of the few friends we got. Wallace, real quick, throw down a freestyle rap.
No.
All right. Well, that's the show. Good night, boys and girls.
We'll go with no.
You don't want me to rap.
Oh, man, I thought you were a rapper. I thought Wallace Dunn was a rap name.
I can work on it.
Almost. A fatality. You're there. So, yeah, anyways, so what's been going on, Wallace? How you doing, man?
Man, dude, crazy busy.
That's good.
It is. Staying very busy.
Things slowed down for all of us over the last year or two.
Yeah.
Of course, me, you, Chris, of course. No.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was, tricking was the first thing to go. And
Turning tricks, and that went down, man. That's everybody's disposable income right there. So
drops off, man.
The market for pudgy Hispanic male prostitutes.
Yep.
Okay.
The truck stops at the first place to dry up.
I think I got $20.
Yeah. Hey, $20 is $20. Yeah. But no, I have friends and there's somebody acquaintances that'll say, "Oh, sorry, I've just been so busy," and it's like I can't be mad at you for busy. Like it's okay. Ignore me further. That's okay.
Well,
sometimes that's a lie, though.
We haven't really talked a lot. I went back to work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all know that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So we don't talk often.
We've been talking about that.
I'll send you feet pics because you asked for.
No. Wallace butt dialed me a couple weeks ago. I thought I was real important, so I called him back and like, that was a butt dial, man. I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll let you go.
I called like 11 people in a minute. My phone.
Yeah. I do that from time to time. I'm like, oh shit, what was I talking about right then?
You got a new phone.
I got a new phone.
I got one too. I think we got ours close to the same time. We had the same phone though, didn't we?
Yeah.
An 8S. Was your an 8S?
Mine was an 8.
Oh, I had
You had the
8S.
bigger one, yeah.
Yeah, and it was at that red.
I got my money's worth out of it.
You know what I did too? The 12 is about to be phased out for the new one, which I don't even know what the new one's going
You
to
have a 12 right now?
Yeah.
And it's about to be phased out?
Yeah.
And that's the only one they're selling, besides the SE.
I went to go get it.
Apple
and they were
people.
Like, if you wait another month, you can get the new one. And I'm like, I'm getting a new phone because I need to, not because I want to.
Not because I upgrade my Apple every cycle.
Yeah.
But there's people that do that, of course.
Yeah. Apple has been caught with their updates throttling the response.
The older phones.
Yeah. The battery.
But even Samsung got caught doing that as well, so it's kind of Samsung's such a stupid copycat. Samsung has great ideas and they do great things, and Samsung even provides a lot of the hardware for Apple. When Apple comes out with a new idea, Samsung just thinks they need to copy it, including throttling their older models and stuff. It's like, oh wow, that was a great idea. Why didn't we start throttling our Note 8 and our Note 7 and our Note 10? Like now we got the Note 20. Why don't we throttle the Note 11?
So I don't know this for a fact, but I know a lot about.
That means he knows it for a fact.
I know a lot about manufacturing in China, and if I would hazard a bet that all of them are made in the same damn factory.
Well, Samsung is from Korea, and Korea does do a lot of manufacturing on their own.
And they do a lot in China.
And they do a lot in China as well. But I know that they do the things they don't want the Chinese. Samsung doesn't trust the Chinese as far as I can see them. So I know that they, like when the COVID broke out, the Koreans and stuff were pissed at the Chinese, and the Koreans had very few actually like cases of COVID-19 because they knew exactly what was going on. They knew it was an information warfare and all that kind of stuff.
Taiwan didn't play that shit either.
And Taiwan didn't either. Yeah. And Taiwan does a lot of manufacturing on their own. Now, of course, they all have business ties to China as well, but
everyone does.
But a lot of those big tech companies like Samsung and like whoever's from Taiwan, I forget who it is that's from Taiwan. But they do a lot of manufacturing on their little spaces.
You know where Nokia's from?
Japan?
No, the Netherlands.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, very odd.
That's interesting.
I wonder if the Netherlands are able to pump out.
Scotland.
Yeah.
Scotland.
Is it Scotland?
I think it's Scotland.
I didn't know they were able to pump out electronics at it.
They might have moved there because Scotland's very favorable business climate. They might have moved there.
It's a big industry for the little town that they're in. Well, that's where I'm from. My name, Wallace.
Wallace, say freedom. as we behead you with the smallpox.
So where are we at, boys?
Oh yeah. So we are. What's this room called?
This is the M Club.
The M Club at the Marriott.
Beautiful
Downtown.
downtown Odessa, Texas.
Right. We told them, hey, we're going to do a podcast. We were downstairs in the restaurant, found a little room down there. They accommodated us and, hey, maybe this other conference room. And they said, ooh, I know a great spot for you guys. And so we're in this beautifully decorated room, extremely modern.
Yeah.
Very nice accommodations. There's cereal. I could pour a bowl of cereal right now if I wanted to. Coffee.
You should, just because you can't.
I might do that. But just to let everybody know, we are here, and they're taking great care of us, and great people. And so we're happy to be here doing this podcast, and we'll check in, and we'll post a couple pictures of this M Club. And, of course, everybody here is West Texas, but, this Marriott's a nice place for like a staycation.
Yep. Great food.
Great restaurant, great food, great drinks, great service, impeccable service. I'm not going to say his name, but they've got one of the best hospitality professionals in the Permian Basin, most sought after. I guarantee you that in Odessa for sure. People will recognize him from Odessa Country Club, and he got us set up here in this room, and you guys will recognize him when you see him, and he's here, so they're doing a great job.
Yeah, we'll say this. He is known for having drinks
named after him.
Yeah, that are named after him.
So he's taking care of us, and this other staff here is taking care of us, and it's a great place, and we're going to have a good podcast here in this room for you guys, hopefully. Yeah. I don't know what we're talking about fully. None of us do.
Yeah.
We're just going to pull cards.
Throw it together. Well, one thing that's been brewing in Odessa lately has been it's a big, I wouldn't call it a controversy, but I mean, I don't know what else to describe it as, the new water treatment plant.
Here we are in the Marriott. Well, the water treatment plant has still not been built, but who cares?
We need to sit in this room to be able to talk about the water treatment plant. So that's why the Marriott got built first.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Now, the water treatment plant, here's the thing, and here, let me say this, Odessa, Texas. I don't drink the water from the sink.
I don't either.
And I never would, and I never will. Now, I'll drink out of the water hose. It's the same water when I was a kid, or every now and then I'll go, if I'm just dying of thirst, I'll just pull up in the water. But that's few and very far between. But even the toilet water that we flush down the toilet every day all over this country is supposedly drinking level water.
Yeah, it is.
In the sense that it's not going to kill you
after treatment.
After treatment. And now Odessa has got, we've all got the red flag things in the mail once every couple of years. Hey, don't drink your water right now. But I don't know anybody. Can you guys name anybody? You don't have to name names, but can you guys name any family or person that you know in this city or in the Permian Basin that drinks water from the faucet?
I run mine through a really expensive GE. Reverse osmosis machine.
Right.
But straight up from the tap,
right.
I don't know.
Other than RO systems and things like that.
You be drinking city tap water?
Do you brush your teeth?
Hey.
On that trail, man.
I brush my teeth with tap water.
I brush my teeth with tap water. So, you're basically, it's entering your system. And your mouth absorbs very rapidly. Your mouth,
but I think
you don't have to swallow for it to absorb into your system.
I think Matt's right. I don't know anybody that drinks the city water.
But on the flip side of that, maybe a few contaminants and toxins are good for you.
Could be.
I think the pipes would probably be the worse than the actual water itself.
So,
the pipes are going to pick up a bunch of the contaminants.
So, can we name names like Matt Stringer?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, Matt Stringer's a friend of the show.
Very
He's been
involved
on the show.
In this. Mm-hmm. Did you testify that time?
Let me find out you testified.
I did. I was so mad. I
did.
You know me. I keep my calm. I was so mad. I don't even know what I said. I rambled something. I jumped on the podium and I walked away and I said, "That's all I got to say to you."
Are we PG rated or
we have an adult?
We're X rated.
Because what I wanted to do is stand up there and tell the city councilors to grow the fuck up.
Yeah.
Take a short commercial break.
How did that happen?
That was amazing.
We've got our waitress here, a lovely lady. She's taking care of us and coming up to the M Club, and she's still giving us our drink service. So, again, shout out to the Marriott. Great place, beautiful facility.
Do you want to say hi to our listeners? Just say hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
What was your name one more time? Can you enunciate your name one more time, please? Say it a little bit louder.
Vicolin? Vitalin.
That's right.
Vitalin. That's a pretty name. So she's taking care of us, and
That's right.
Thank
You're
you.
doing a great job too.
you're often at the bar downstairs, right? You're often down there. Yeah. Yep. So she's taking care
Can
of
you
us.
name me by name?
No. I already told him no. I got you. I already told him.
Hey, thanks for doing this, though. We gave you a plug on the radio, so.
Not your name. Not your name. But,
You can use my name. I don't.
no, it's all good. We might. But the facility is impeccable, and we really appreciate you getting us set up here. We're talking about the M Club and all this.
You want to
So.
say your name for listeners?
Nah. He doesn't want to.
Okay.
He doesn't want to. They can inform that.
Yeah.
Mr. X.
If they don't know by now, they won't.
Yeah, if they don't know by now, yeah. We drop some good hints.
Okay. But, if they want to, you're more than welcome to.
Now that we've dropped some really good hints. The people that know, the people that should know by now. Trust me.
I'd like to put some water, so if y'all don't mind.
No, that's fine. No, we'll just be here chilling.
Thank you, bud.
So, we just
So you're talking about, okay, so
I mentioned Matt Stringer.
Matt Stringer. He's been very
So-
involved, and you said you were there
yeah.
at
And
the meeting.
Tim
and,
Harry.
and
Harry,
you forgot what you said, but you
Man,
said
I had this
something at the
whole-
podium. You went up to the podium,
I had this whole statement.
and this was at
ready.
the city council.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it city?
Yeah,
Ector.
city council.
Yeah, city council, yeah. So
It was packed.
it was packed.
Every seat was taken. There was overpour out into the hall, out to the.
And this was
elevators.
based, and the purpose of the meeting was the water treatment facility.
treatment
This was the purpose.
The discussion before the vote at the next meeting.
Okay.
So let me tell you what I know about it. Number one, Odessa currently has 2 water treatment plants.
Oh, that's news to me. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
exactly,
Big and
right?
little.
Right.
And either one by itself would meet the daily
Requirement. Either one, but independent of the other one.
Yes.
Okay.
It would put us in a bind.
If
but-
one went down or
but
something
it's
like
not
that.
the end of the world.
And they're terribly aged. They do need to
And
be
see,
replaced.
they
that's,
do.
That's the story for all of America.
Well, so here's my point about the whole thing, and the whole point of the meeting that everybody was so ticked off about. The financing structure of the city council.
Yes.
They're using a process where they can approve
Budget
this
reconciliation.
without a vote, and it's supposed to be reserved for emergency municipal repairs. So if the water plant went out today,
Exploded.
it's an
Boiler
emergency.
exploded.
We've known for 7 years.
We've known longer than that.
Well, yeah, but it's been identified and talked about for 7 years before this facility was planned, right? But anyway, that to me,
Anyway.
nobody knows that. Nobody knows that we have
Right.
2 plants.
No, I didn't know that.
And you know,
Did you know that, Chris?
Yes, I did.
Shut
And actually, during
up.
the
Shut
wintertime-
up. Shut up. Never mind.
during
So,
the
go
wintertime-
on, Wallace.
During the wintertime, they'll run this small plant only, and it handles it just fine.
Yeah.
And there was concerns.
Oh,
over
I
the
guess he
price.
does know.
Oh, when the COVID blizzard hit,
Uh-huh.
there was a lot of concerns that it was going to tank, and it
it
handled
was gonna
beautifully.
freeze up.
Handled it beautifully.
So
The old one was built in the 50s. The younger one was built, I believe, in the 70s, right?
yeah.
And I mean, it's
So-
time.
So everybody at that meeting, towards the end of it, I think it was Tom Sprouls asked the question, who is actually my rep on the council, asked the question, how many of you here think we need a new water treatment plant? And everybody raised their hands.
Of course, everyone there did, but I would not have.
No,
nobody
no,
asked me,
even-
and I don't care. I don't think we need a new one.
Even the people that were standing up testifying against it all said, yes, we think
No
we
one
do.
argues that.
We just want to be able to vote on it.
Or
That's really what it was
You know
all
what?
about.
Okay,
The-
we're doing hand raising here,
Yeah.
people. Here's what. Let me just give my little 2 cents of feedback on the whole deal. Is it wasn't the major problem that it was outside bidders and it was like all set up ready to go and like nobody local had a chance to like review the plans.
That's part of it, though.
Or like because we're like the peak of global industry here in the Permian Basin. Like literally, we're the peak of global, especially hydraulics and things like that. Why can't some locals here?
Yep.
Look at the plans and
local
look at
companies.
it
Exactly.
and we've got global leaders in these kind of industries and technologies.
Experts.
Hey, so Tim Harry works for a chemical company, and they move a lot of water.
That's all they
pumps.
do.
And he assured me within 24 hours they could build a temporary station that could outperform the 2 stations and the new station combined.
Yeah,
And I was-
yeah.
The two stations and the new station combined?
Yeah, we move in the oil field, we move water.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And we're the global leader. The Permian Basin
We
is the
know how
global
the
leader.
pipeline
And we're treating.
That's what got me a little bit riled up about it.
Yeah.
Do I think we need a new water plant? No. Okay. I'll just go out and say no because nobody drinks the freaking city water anyways. Okay.
We need it. We
Okay.
need it.
Okay.
Odessa's
Okay. Well, that's my
expanding.
opinion.
Long
but
term.
I'm upset about why are my global leaders here
So
not allowed to look at the plans or see what's going on ahead of time.
when you,
Exactly.
And then you get some out of town company from Kansas or someplace.
They're Austin.
Yeah,
They're Austin.
wherever,
You know, well, thank God they're still Texan, but
Right,
still, like,
right,
they
right.
outsourced the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Right. So go ahead.
so the city paid, I don't remember the number,
14 million.
14 million
prints that don't exist yet.
for a plan that nobody has seen the plan.
14 million is enough to build a facility.
Yes,
And
it is.
it is. And when you do the math, project planning,
Not not on government money though.
as a project manager, you budget,
like
right?
work.
And the budget for the plans was way out of line.
I'm just trying to get a good, clear.
Oh,
Yeah,
way,
that glass of water will
really?
Yeah.
Way out of line. Typically, it would be about 5%, and this one was 15%.
Yeah.
So three times the norm.
It's the same people that approved those god awful Christmas trees that were $80,000 a piece.
No.
In front of the beautiful downtown Marriott.
It's not the Marriott's.
I know,
It's not
I know,
their fault.
I know, I know.
That the city council is just throwing bricks of fastball pitching bricks of money at their heads. It's not their fault. If the city council want to fastball pitch bricks of money in my head, I'd take it too.
Yeah.
So if it was put to a vote today, I would vote for it
I would too.
because I think we need it.
Even with all the shenanigans and cronyism around the plans.
Yeah, we
and
need
stuff.
it.
We absolutely.
And,
The
and
first
you know,
time, the little guy's breaking down.
Matt,
It's a rough shape.
something that you said, when you talk about municipal infrastructure, you're not talking 10 years, you're talking 50 years.
Right.
You know, how this is the one of the fastest growing communities
Well,
in
and,
the United States.
and to go back to the previous point about this being an oil field hub is the oil field itself is depleting and destroying that fucking water facility on a exponential scale compared to other communities that are not oil field hubs and things like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a double-edged sword.
A lot of them have water well, so they don't.
A lot of them do. A lot of them do, but a lot of them don't. A lot of them run these machine shops and all kinds of stuff off of
Around-
city
Yeah, they
water,
definitely do.
and they're just blowing through that.
We're
They're
talking-
just blowing through
We're
it.
talking the big amounts, the millions of barrels for like fracking and stuff like that. They'll.
A lot of them will also use city water, believe it or not.
They try their hardest not to. They'll have
Well, because it
water
became
wells.
because it became politically incorrect.
Well, because it's
but
more
before
expensive.
before
Yeah,
it
it's
was
more expensive.
But they don't care. They just pass that cost on. They just pass that cost on. But before it became politically incorrect and before it became a local issue, they were just blowing through that. I promise you. I promise you.
Oh, they still are.
They still are.
Yeah, they still are.
Even if they're trying not to, even if they have a water well, a lot of times the water wells don't have the infrastructure that you turn on the city water and you just get millions of gallons of water. You don't get that necessarily from a water well. That's why Lake J.B. Thomas is drained because it's not. That's not a water well. That's a lake that's getting drained by industry.
I was a consultant on a big freshwater pipeline for this. It's a frac pit. It was these two ponds were so big. I would sit at the edge at the top and take a picture. And everybody would think I was at the beach. It's hilarious. and so,
That's funny, bro.
So I did a lot of consulting work on that, and we were producing. And we had I think 12 water wells total on this lease, and we were producing so. I have never ever in my life seen this much money, and this much water moving, this much liquids moving. Period in my life. This was the biggest scale operation I've ever seen of anything, and I've been nothing but oil and gas. But I've never seen that much liquids being sold.
Right.
They were outselling a lot of the liquefied petroleum places by a lot because they were selling it like 50 cents a gallon, something like that. But they're selling so much water.
Right.
They had these huge pipelines coming in and filling up these.
Well, and
huge
you punch a
lakes.
well out in the middle of nowhere. You punch a well out in the middle of nowhere. It's different than punching a well in town that everybody else has already punched into.
Yeah.
You know, there's little channels of the aquifer, and there's little pockets and things, and you punch
Well, we're
into.
sitting
you
on
know,
an ocean of fresh water.
Right.
There's a lot.
And we like to tell ourselves that.
Yeah. I mean,
You know,
yeah, we're sucking it out faster than it
but
can
it's turning into Lake J.B. Thomas
Yeah.
before we.
Underground.
Yeah, it's turned into Lake J.B. Thomas though, right in front of our eyes.
Cavities down there.
Yeah.
Hello.
You wonder where the earthquakes are coming from. Speaking of, you guys felt any earthquakes lately?
And I'm on the west side.
I have not.
I have not either, but I guess it was about this time last year when I felt some earthquakes, one or two.
They're still happening.
Yeah.
It was very. They're still happening, but I guess maybe not with the same regularity.
So
Yeah, last year was bad.
let me tell you, I have been in earthquakes.
Oh, yeah?
In Asia.
In the Pacific Rim and shit like that.
It was
Is
on
it Godzilla coming out of the water?
on the island of Okinawa.
Oh, that's very earthquake prone.
Solid dirt, right?
Uh-huh.
That was waving like the ocean.
Wow.
And you couldn't stand up. It would
That's
knock you
some
down.
shit.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, I was 10 years old when I saw it, but I'll never forget it because you could not stand up.
And the thing is like, we're wondering where these earthquakes are coming from, and that doesn't mean that I'm going to say, oh, I don't want fracking or I don't want us to drill for water, but these earthquakes are obviously going to be, you can't say that they're not a side effect.
Well,
Yeah.
You can't say that they're
fracking-
not something that
fracking
comes
nowadays,
from it.
Fracking nowadays doesn't leave a giant cavity like it did before.
Right.
Because it fills it with sand.
Well,
So
it does, and also
And you can't mash
and a
that
lot of the
with-
oil is in veins.
so they
It's not like there's a big lake of oil down there.
No, it's never.
in veins.
It barely, hardly ever at one point in time ever existed like that.
Right.
So you know, out here we drill for
Molecules.
mostly for oil out here,
Mostly.
north of Dallas and northwest of Dallas. They drilled for gas, and that's really where the fracking really first started. About 25 years ago, 20 years ago, and they have a bunch of earthquakes up there. And the UT system did a bunch of research on it, and what they have said and they've published is that it's
Is
not.
there racism?
It's not
Oh.
fracking. What it is goes back to this water. All of the produced water from these wells, they put it back in the ground and they call them injection
Yeah, the
wells.
injection was.
And the injection wells is like putting lubricant down there, and that's what's
Well,
causing
and let
the
me
earthquakes.
posit this. That water is a volume that wasn't there before.
Right, right.
And so yeah, you're filling up with sand, but you're also putting a whole nother volume of matter down there.
It's like the water can't exist that far deep. It's too buoyant. It shoots itself back out. But with the injection wells, the injection wells are
You're
used,
still putting more water into a place where there wasn't water before.
You're right. You're right. The injection wells exist below the water table. It's the same thing. They're used to push the molecules of the oil to one central location. But now you do have this saturated
Lube.
Yeah.
Lube.
Left it is.
Lube.
Because it is. It's produced water, so it's not only is it salty, but it's also full of hydrocarbons and
And the saltiness does things to the buoyancy, we all know.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, water is heavy, but when you start adding salinity to it, then it gets more buoyant.
Oh, and it gets so tasty.
Yeah.
So tasty.
So
Have we beat this one up?
I think we've beat it
Yeah.
up, and it was good to shift over to the earthquakes. And if you people listening, if our one or two listeners want to chime in with any earthquakes you've had recently, what part of town, if it's been strong, what you felt, anything like that, let us know, because you guys have any local earthquake stories to tell? I'll tell you mine. Like, I had never felt one before. I was crashed out, but my wife had felt it. But I was up late about 2 in the morning. I was up late about 2 in the morning listening to or playing PlayStation, and I feel this. I hear from my left ear this rumble coming, and then once it gets to my house, and like shit was rattling and moving around, and then from my right ear, I felt the rumble continue going past my house down the other way. So it came, hit, and then it went, and I thought a car crashed into my house. I went out front. All my neighbors were out front because they all thought a car
You
crashed.
go out there in your chonies with your sawed-off shotgun. Who done it?
All my neighbors thought a car crashed into their house also.
Same
That
car.
happened to me one time. I got some bad crack a couple years ago.
Yeah. Same here. Same here.
Hey, there's no such thing as bad crack. All crack is good crack.
Oh, that's
Okay,
funny.
my bad.
No, but isn't that weird? You could hear it coming.
It was very weird. It was
you
very
could
weird.
hear it coming.
It sounded like somebody.
Bam.
It sounded like when like you got a neighbor down the street that turns their race car on or something. Boom, boom, boom.
My
And it
neighbor.
was coming, and then it hit, and then the shit shook in my house, and then it went past.
I've never experienced one.
It
but I
was
can-
very, very interesting.
Yeah.
And it gave me this whole feeling like I was alive now. Like I experienced something that was like
Told your wife, let's go
primal.
make love right now.
I've only felt one, and it was like a big crack.
Yeah.
You know.
It was something that was like primal. It like gave you like this primal feeling. Like now I know it. Now I'm alive, and there is things out there that are not in my control and not in anybody's control.
Earthquakes will
You know,
come jack you up in your sleep.
it was very, very interesting feeling. Like you know, you get like an adrenaline rush almost, and like because you're looking around for what was that? What was that problem? You know. Now when you're in Japan or someplace and the light fixtures are shaking and the buildings going side to side, it's not a big question. But here, when something like that happens and you're looking around for answers and trying to figure out what that was,
You're not used to it.
Yeah, especially when we're not used to it. We don't have
Right,
earthquakes,
right.
They started again in 2018, and we hadn't had one before in
Right.
like 40 years.
Yeah.
Would you mind picking your chair and moving in?
Yes, sir.
There we go. Just
Yes,
so you
sir.
come in a little bit.
Yes, sir.
So you have
Yes,
a
sir.
soft, feminine voice.
Yes, sir.
Feminine.
Software engineer, Mr. Software Engineer.
Yeah, Mr. Software.
So what else we got local? We got the UTPB soccer deal, which I think I'm not really prepared to speak on it, but to me it's a fucked up deal on UTPB's part.
I don't know enough.
We're giving
details.
them land hand over fist, dude. We're giving them land and tax abatements hand over fist that we're paying
That's
for
universities,
anyways.
period.
Yeah, and how you just gonna leave all these kids high and dry?
That's what ticks me off.
You know, and somebody says, "Oh, all that money from Odessa Soccer Association." I'm like, let me tell you, bro, all that there is no money. Okay, have you seen their website? You know, have you seen the money goes to like pay these 10-year-old referees and shit, and like. I see the officials that run the thing, and it's not like they're driving fancy Escalades, and it's not like they're rolling up in a limousine to the soccer fields. You know what I'm saying? Like these are really. The thing is it's a really totally grassroots thing, and UTPB wants to turn it into. I don't know if they're going to turn it all into a parking lot, more empty buildings, more empty university buildings that nobody goes to. You know, or. I have a suspicion that it's like they want to farm all the players. They want their own soccer league, and they want to farm all the players basically into the UT system.
I've heard that as well.
My impression was they wanted the money. You could still use it, but you had to pay them.
And what
to
money?
Use it.
Yeah, it's like, what money? What money? What
Well,
money
had
do you want?
you had to rent it.
Yeah.
I just see a lot of
And which
paying
makes me
now.
sick. Which makes me sick, considering their tax abatements. They don't pay. They don't pay anybody any money.
And
They don't pay anybody any money, but they want the money.
and their revenue from the oil field.
Right.
The UT system is rich
Yeah.
with oil money.
So that just, to me, it's a bad deal. And what was really sad was seeing the OA and these other like local news outlets and stuff basically taking the side of UTPB, and I can see how that could happen because UTPB is like basically a global conglomerate with a CEO that comes from like Fortune 500 companies. They know.
UTPB is a branch of University of Texas.
I know that.
They got money.
No, and not only that, but they have executives that come from the business world, IBM, Apple.
It's a powerful.
You know,
group.
name it. Fortune 500. That's what I'm saying. Like that's where their CEOs come from. So they know exactly how to make the little guy in Odessa, Texas, look like a fucking idiot.
And I think part of what you're seeing, Matt, and it ticks me off because the OA, it's like they've got a hard on for the city government because of the
Or any kind of like grandeur and like pomp and circumstance, or like talk to them CEO talk, and like they don't know what you're saying, but they love it, and the OA and the Odessa city just set themselves up for they didn't renew the contract because UT wouldn't renew the contract. UT wouldn't negotiate, so of course Odessa didn't renew the contract, and so then all these news organizations turn that around against Odessa. Like, how do you not see that coming? You know, and these news organizations just fall in like hook, line, and sinker on that. You know what I'm saying? And a conglomerate with Fortune 500 CEOs, which is basically what the UT system is. They know just how to set those kind of traps and just how to lead down those paths of basically propaganda.
What really ticks me off about the whole thing, I don't know who's right or wrong, but I know that the ones getting hurt are the kids.
Exactly. So
know?
now we're scrambling to build. I coached 2 soccer teams in OSA,
Yeah.
and I played in OSA for many years. And now we're scrambling to build a soccer complex at Sherwood. And Odessa does have fields scattered around, but it was nice to have them all in a central area, which was what the UTPB thing was. And the city of Odessa was kind enough to give that land to UT. So how much more land are we going to give to UT, and then how many more times are they going to turn around and spit in our face and say, well, now we want money for that land?
Yeah.
We're giving them that. That's our city. That's in our city limits. We're giving them that land. And then they, like, is UT not a big enough organization that they need the money?
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
it's scummy is what it is. It's a scummy deal.
It's reached new levels of pettiness. I never thought this much pettiness was even capable from human beings, but it absolutely isn't.
And a lot of this stuff, you know what? I told my dad, and he agreed. I said, you know, every time the Democrats are elected, quality of everything goes to shit. The contracts of everything goes to shit. The integrity and the character of the working relationships just goes to total shit. And it's like, oh well, sorry, man. We like you, but contractually, you know, you're out. And
So you're going to get mad at me if I voted for Biden?
I vote.
I'm getting checks. I'm getting checks from the government that I didn't ask for.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I didn't ask for these checks that the government keeps sending me. They keep sending them to me.
I'm getting bills.
Right? I can do that.
Well, I owe them 130 grand.
Yeah.
Hey, you
I owe the IRS
remember-
130 grand.
Remember when they messed up and they hit you for like $40 million?
Yeah, I had my bank accounts negative 40
And
million.
he sent me a picture. He's like, Chris, I think I'm gonna kill myself. And a picture
I
of $40
remember
million.
that. I remember
$40
you
million.
said that.
Like, yeah, I think you should kill yourself.
It's like negative 39 million, negative 39 million, negative 39 million. It's like, what in the
I was like,
fuck are
yeah.
these people doing?
Yeah, I don't advocate for suicide, but in this situation, I think you should.
You might should do that.
You should find a really high place to jump down from.
What else is going on local? Chris sent me a funny picture the other day in front of like Target where these two cars are on top of each other.
Oh, shit.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
What's going on? Like,
And it was a young kid drunk early in the afternoon. It was like 4:30 or 5.
or earlier, it was like
If you don't
2.
start
Was
drinking early, you can't drink all day. So I mean,
Used
come
to-
on.
yeah.
Come on, man.
Hey, if you want to ruin your buzz,
Yeah.
Hey,
Then run over a car in the Target parking lot.
and I guess an old lady that was in the car got injured.
Oh, yeah.
Underneath that they got ran over.
So we got those kind of things going
hey,
on.
last night, everyone from Midland last night, a blue Mustang was hauling ass.
Oh,
hit a tree and was
dude.
split in half. Did you see that? Nobody knows what the deal is. No cops were told. Nothing. There's blood splattered
All over the
outside.
car.
But somebody came up with something. They said, I think this is from one of the schools where they take it out there and they display it, and then they're just storing it there because it's that big empty lot in downtown
Wow.
Midland.
I
So
saw
maybe it was
that.
fake blood.
It could have
even.
been because it was like really convenient on the
So-
side.
If
So-
anybody knows anything about that, get with us and let us know.
But
But
it's a Mustang cut clean in half, bro. But there's
Speak-
nothing to get hit.
Speaking of recent news,
you never know.
Odessa and Midland, we have a gang problem. Did you see the last murder
No,
in Odessa?
fill us in because that's what we're looking at. Some local news right
22 or 3-year-old kid shot and killed a 14-year-old kid.
Yes.
And 2 murders back, the murderer was 16, killed a guy that was.
The guy has clock. One of the guys had clock tattooed on his neck.
It's all
from Midland.
it's all dope or gangs or both, but
Turning
it's
into big
And
we're
see, I've-
young people.
I have
man.
checked out of the media almost entirely. So,
Yeah.
and I get banned from Facebook for 30 days at a time. So if I
Me
do
too.
get my news, you know, and so then it's like I don't hear about this kind of stuff.
Did you see now the OA just started a paywall?
No.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. a
Well,
week
their whole
ago.
building got leveled.
They're gonna hurt themselves with that.
Oh yeah, I'm not paying.
Nobody goes to the OA to look for stuff. They see it on their timeline and then they talk shit.
I get their
And
email.
by OA, we're talking about Odessa American people.
Yeah, I
The
get their
newspaper,
I
the
get
quote
their
unquote newspaper.
I get their email every morning, and it's like the top stories, and I click on it, I read it. I mean, because I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
But
it's still a news source.
yeah, a couple
OA
of
was
days
so
ago.
slanted. I don't care. If
Oh,
they
they're
completely
dude.
go under, dude.
The other day they posted
What's his name?
something.
What's the guy's name? The editor for Drico, whatever.
Canty.
I don't.
The other day they
I think
posted
it's Canty.
Pat Canty. The other day they posted something religious about Jesus, and
I saw that.
and my-
like, was Jesus real?
and my comment. Did you see my
Yeah,
comment?
you're like, you must
What did
be
you guys
so-
run out of liberal bullshit to post or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
You know,
who is Federico? What does he do for?
Oh, Federico. He's a
Yeah.
reporter.
That
and,
dude. That dude.
He's got issues.
He's got issues.
He's a liberal.
Dude, no
He's-
matter what it is, he hunts. He gives Javier Hoven the Trump treatment.
Well, we're flyover country, so he probably came out here from
He
somewhere
did.
else.
He's the one that Mark Matta recorded.
Yeah, and he was talking
and,
shit.
and he was just on a rant talking about
Talking shit
Mark's
about his
mother.
mom.
Dude, I would whip your ass.
I'm surprised Mark did it. Mark's a really chill guy. That's the only thing.
And-
to say
and
about
Mark,
Federico.
we
Mark
talked-
beat the brakes off him.
We talked about it, whether he should
Press
release
charges.
it.
His ass?
No,
His
release
ass? Yeah,
release the
his ass.
recording. Whether he should release the recording.
Yeah,
or not.
but he did.
And I said, yeah.
Yeah.
Release it, dude.
Yeah.
Yesterday, released it yesterday.
Yeah.
Quickly,
Yeah.
let's go, so. Yeah, that was-
So, I was just about to mention, like, I haven't seen, like, there was a time, like, maybe 2 years ago, even when we were doing this podcast, when there was, like, car chases on, like, a regular basis, and, like, I'm not
we
seeing
did
that.
Blogger. We did Blogger on the show. It was funny. We would,
I'm not seeing, like, car chases and stuff, though. But that could just mean that it's being kept under wraps and stuff like that as
They
well.
could be. Well, since after the shooting, after the Labor Day shooting, was it Labor Day or Memorial Day shooting? I don't remember. I mixed up those 2 days.
Labor
all the
Day.
time. The Labor Day shooting, the police have.
Labor Day hasn't happened yet.
It happens every year.
Yeah,
was
but
the-
it hasn't happened yet.
It was
The guy that- the
it
guy
was
that did the
September 1st,
Yeah.
August 20. It was the weekend.
The
but-
guy that did the shooting, after that, the cops have been real quiet
And-
about crime here. No, this.
and I would prefer we don't name the dirtbag.
I don't even remember. His
I don't care about naming the dirtbag, but, like, I would like to know if there is a gang problem.
There is. There is.
And I'd like to know if there's, like, a crime issue.
They
There
really
is.
keep
Well,
it hush hush though.
So let me tell you, we talk about the drugs.
And you have a history in crime prevention
one more
and,
time, remind the listeners.
and intelligence and things like that. Just a little rundown,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
want.
Remind the
Just
listeners-
brief.
Remind the listeners real quick.
Your
real
past
quick.
history.
Oh yeah, I retired from the Army a long time ago. I was an intel analyst.
He personally took down Hitler.
No,
Oh.
but I had a really weird job. My last 8 years, I was a criminal intelligence analyst, and I worked at a drug task force. And I got really disillusioned because I don't agree with the drug laws. And when I left, I was really in turmoil. But today, I mean, I support the police 100%.
Of course,
What?
we all do.
But
I wouldn't even say that
we
all do.
we got issues. I mean, we got issues. Did y'all see what just happened?
I've been interviewed by the FBI 2 times, based on the Capitol Hill shit.
Really,
Yeah, and my Facebook posts and stuff.
really.
Yeah.
Did y'all see what just happened in Dallas with Lieutenant Colonel Allen West's wife?
No.
I did.
She was arrested for drunk driving. What she was really arrested for
Was beating
was
his
driving while black in
I
Dallas.
think, I think she was targeted because she was his wife.
I'm
I
sure.
think
I'm
she
sure
was
that's
targeted.
part of it.
She
I'm,
was,
so-
she
I'm
was
sure she
targeted
was.
from a Democrat ran.
But check this
police
out,
department.
Matt, and yeah, we can talk about that. She blew the breathalyzer twice and tested 0.
2-6. Both
They
times.
did a blood test. They arrested her. They did a blood test.
And by the time you go do all that, there's an opportunity for fraud.
and it was 0. But Colonel West showed the receipt from the restaurant, and she
No booze,
drank
nothing, yeah.
water
And lemonade.
and lemonade. And she was injured too. I don't know. Did you see her post?
No, I didn't. I saw his rebuttal.
So I want to throw that out.
Of course,
right
they're
quick.
targeting him. Of course, the deep state is targeting him, and of course, the deep state is operating deeply in Texas.
Yeah, we have it. Colonel West will be in Odessa on Wednesday.
This Wednesday.
This Wednesday. Yeah, you go to the oil
3
and
days
gas.
from now.
Yeah, Oil and Gas Workers Association, and you can buy a ticket.
We
It's
might
at
make
the-
a note of that and put that on our podcast.
It's at the Copper Rose downtown, and
What's the
it's $25.
It's right across the street here, right? On Grant.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
right here.
500 block or something,
Yeah.
450 block. But Oil and Gas Workers Association, you can buy a ticket. I think they're going to sell out if you want to go.
You know, of course, they're targeting, and it doesn't take much, and it's kind of like swatting. It could be something like swatting.
Yeah.
Somebody knows, hey, there's Alan West, and
Yeah.
then somebody calls the cops and say, hey, I'm watching a drunk person
Well-
that's swerving around and
He's,
doing
he's
things like
being
that.
watched
They were-
24/7,
Right.
brother.
They were not together.
But all it takes
And-
what I'm saying is all it takes is an Antifa type to
Yeah.
see and then call in a fake report.
Nah, bro, I think it's
Well,
harder than that.
I know it was targeted. She got pulled
Of course
for,
it's targeted. Of course
not-
it's targeted, but it starts at that level. You
not-
can't. You have to have a report. You have to have a call.
I think these are big boy games.
for not using her turn signal
to shift just through traffic.
by a DUI task force.
Oh, the task force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a black female cop too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But-
don't see race playing a role.
but
in
they-
this. I see it as exactly that, trying to send
Yeah.
Lieutenant Colonel a message.
Yeah.
That you ain't.
Yeah.
You want to try to run this state? Okay, you got a problem.
Let me talk about a
They're
message.
barking up the wrong tree there.
You know, I was a state delegate for the Republican Party.
Woo, me
that-
too. Remember how drunk I got?
Yeah,
That's
well,
great.
no, but that means we
Yay.
got to vote on the chair, which Colonel West was
That's
the chair.
all I cared about.
You want to talk about sending the state a message?
Right.
He won that race by 90%.
He smoked them, bro.
And that was a grassroots effort.
Hey, did y'all hear about Greg Abbott at CPAC? He got 0 votes. Literally got 0
Yeah, I
votes.
saw that.
I was like, did he nominate himself?
You know,
He didn't even vote for himself.
hey,
He's like, I like that.
there's a new hashtag. God, what is it? I just posted it. Texas Mitt Romney.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
No, I didn't. It's funny.
Well, that's Abbott for sure.
No, yeah, it'll take you to Abbott's page.
That's funny. That's good. That's what he deserves. That's funny. Nobody likes him. Democrats
Nobody.
like Republicans.
So you know
And he's late to the party trying to pretend to be conservative. But
Hey, I guarantee
Oh,
you they're
yeah.
going to push him for president.
this
I
will
guarantee
shift, but he's going to get 0 votes.
Hey, you never know.
DeSantis is my boy.
Biden.
Who?
ranked-
DeSantis.
DeSantis. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like DeSantis with Trump as his VP.
So
know
this
who I
is
really
And
like?
they just keep switching off.
yeah, forever.
Go to Mitt
Romney of Texas.com.
Texas.com.
Mitt Romney
Let's
of
see, what else do we need to talk
Texas.com.
about? Oh, so yeah, to finish up with Alan West, his rebuttal was great. He was like, "I'm getting on to Tuesday to come to my house and apologize."
Mm-hmm.
I would not. The last thing I would do in my life would be to cross
And Matt,
Adam West.
since you didn't hear the story,
Adam West or Alan West?
Ellen,
Alan, my bad. Alan.
the
Adam West is Superman.
the other part of the story is Batman, bitch.
Oh, my bad. Fuck! I fucked that up.
Yeah.
She had their grandson. She had their grandson in the car. They
Oh,
took
my
her
God.
to jail. They left the grandson with 2 random cops
2 hours.
until the other daughter came and
Don't worry, son.
Yeah, that right there.
Grandma's Wella's gonna be okay in down in Dallas County.
There's just no way I'm looking at this and not seeing it being a targeted.
And then with the
Yeah.
receipts and what she blew,
Yeah.
how do you argue that?
Yeah.
And then like a competent investigator would be like an independent like an IG. How do you get? How did this happen? And how do you take someone to jail when they blow 0? And then here we are with the receipts that show 0 alcohol
Because
was drank.
when
How do we get to this point? Like a competent, we need
I
a
know.
competent,
Common sense.
a competent independent counsel.
Sorry. When they did the field sobriety test, I guess her balance wasn't great. She's a little bit aged.
She's got medical conditions.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like I can. Be
And can you imagine? Can you imagine? Like, you ever meet these old black ladies that are like so polite and so friendly and like so sweet and like can you imagine what kind of woman probably and like I'm
Yeah.
sorry and she's probably wearing a dress and like wearing pearls or who knows what and like her hair's all did and everything and
And
like
you know what? To me, what the best thing about that woman? She's a military wife.
exactly
Military wives serve this country.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
They pay the price, man. And to
It's
me,
sad to come to the realization right now that we're all coming to that
Yeah.
it is going to be this game. It is going to be this deep state game. It is going to be this targeted. They're going to do everything. And I'm surprised I didn't plant something.
Texas, yeah,
Oh, we found this
Texas-
beer can in their car.
Texas politics is nasty.
It is, but
It's
but
money. It's all money.
but they can see the national deep state can see these trends, and they know Alan West wants to secede. Alan West does want to secede. He mentioned it. He mentioned
I
it.
think with Alan West, it's more of a hey, you 49 idiots, get y'all shit together, or else we will.
I've actually talked to him about it.
I'm a secessionist. I'll say
He
it.
is not necessarily in favor of it. He's not
Nobody wants
opposed
to do that.
Yeah.
When I asked him point blank at the country club about a year ago, and it was before he announced, and I stood up and asked him, and I know he's thought about it, and his answer was, what I think we need to do is the citizens of Texas needs to vote on it. I'm not going to say yay or nay.
But we don't have that ability, or did
Right.
did we get that ability?
well,
Because we were trying
we
to.
were supposed to. I'm not sure
Yeah,
what
I
happened
don't
with
know.
that.
Yeah, whatever happened with that? Like, isn't that funny how that just all just goes down the rabbit hole? That just all just goes down the rabbit hole.
Who was that?
We
ref?
were supposed to. First we had
We
to
were supposed-
vote to give ourselves referendums,
Right.
and then once we got the referendums, then we were supposed to be able to say, okay, no, we do. Once we get the referendums, then we can, because California has referendums.
So speaking of new laws,
Yeah, we need to
September-
talk about. Yeah, we're 45 minutes in, so we need to talk about the new gun laws going on in the book.
September
1st.
1st.
The one that he.
So the big hot button everybody wants to talk about is constitutional carry.
Okay.
And just I haven't said it.
Okay. If you don't want to say anything, then you want to rebut. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to be packing a pistol. I'm going to have two. I have these really nice gun belts that are Velcro. It's a really rigid Velcro that you can just put on. Like what I'm wearing right now, I can just put it on over this, and it just Velcros over it. So like I could have those gun belts just sitting in my passenger seat or sitting in my back seat, and whenever I'm going into Home Depot, grab it, put it on. I don't have to put it through my belt loops. I don't have to do this whole hassle thing. Just put it on. When I get back to my car, take it off.
I'm gonna wear a bandito style
So
with bandoliers with the bullets and stuff.
Take you 10 minutes to get out of the car, put your outfit on every time.
With my 6-shooter hanging.
we know you won't.
No, actually, that's what I do
We know
like
he
to
won't.
carry. I
No,
do
we
like
know
to
he
carry my
won't.
single action
So
though.
I am the president of Texas Handgun Association.
Correct.
You know, I think it's newsworthy to talk about how that bill was passed. What I was starting to get at, Matt, I don't like the word constitutional carry because it's not. It's permitless. To me, if it's constitutional, it shall not be infringed.
Right.
Carry what you
I'm
want,
telling
when
you,
want, how you want.
There's a lot of technicalities in the
The
law.
legislature has set a trap. People are going to get in trouble. If you don't know the law, if you have an LTC, there are restrictions on where you can carry. Okay? If you carry without an LTC, there are significantly more restrictions. And people are going to get in legal trouble. I know that. We've already had people arrested because it came out in the news, hey, the bill passed. They strap on a gun and go, and they get arrested. And guess what? They lose their gun
That doesn't
rights.
surprise me at all.
So that everybody wants to talk about, but I think there's some other news that's even a bigger deal than that. And the one is Texas, the entire state, is a Second Amendment sanctuary now. And the legislature made it retroactive to January 19th, 2021. Any federal law that goes against the U.S. Constitution will not be enforced in the state of Texas by an employee of the state of Texas or a municipality or a county
And
or
of
a
course,
city.
that makes it much harder for the feds, but the feds will still.
The feds will, just like the marijuana laws.
Right.
Yeah, you can make it legal in your
But
state.
it makes it it puts them in a very unfavorable position.
And then-
It's not necessarily illegal. It's decriminalized, which is the greatest part because decriminalized means it's still illegal. It's just not. They just won't pursue.
You're not going to go to prison.
Yeah,
You get
they
a
won't-
ticket.
they won't pursue it, or they'll ticket you or something like that.
So another really big one, and we know this one's going to go to court on the silencers. And I was
And there's
actually
even technicalities on that one.
there is, and it will go to court. I was actually pushing for guns too. If Bond Arms is made in Texas. If it's made in Texas, bought in Texas, stays in Texas, the federal government has no business in your business. But they did it with the silencer suppressors.
I prefer the term silencers.
Yeah, there is a provision in that bill that it will go to court. I wanted to say this, and I got off track on the constitutional carry thing.
And I want to circle back in a minute to the constitutional carry. What are some of those traps that people will fall in? So let's go back to that.
Well,
Okay.
I just want to say this.
Yeah.
Leading up to that, I was having almost daily conference calls. And it's interesting that who was on those phone calls was NRA, Texas State Rifle Association.
Y'all can't see this, but we just fist pumped. I just fist pumped
And-
Wallace because I know that Wallace is going to carry the flag on those conversations
And-
to those national lobbies. Those are what they are as lobbies.
Well, these were Texas, but it was NRA Texas, Gun Owners of America, Texas, and the other one was Texas State Rifle Association. And here's what I want to stress.
Stress it.
3 ladies.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
That is cool.
3 women got that law changed. Pretty much. And you know Rachel, I want to name them real quick.
Okay,
Rachel
go ahead.
Malone,
Yeah,
I think
Rachel
you've met her.
Awesome, beautiful woman, smart.
Yeah,
She
and-
Beautiful
kicked our
woman.
ass.
Chris wants to know if everyone has her phone number or anything.
Yeah.
She is married and her husband's pretty badass.
Oh, okay.
He'd kick my ass.
But Andy Turner is the Texas State Rifle Association. And then Tara Micah Riley is the NRA, and coincidentally, her husband is Senator Cruz's chief of staff.
Oh, good.
But
That's
you
good.
know, I thought conservatives only let rich white men speak up for them. So you must be incorrect. I'm sorry. You must
Yeah.
be
Old from the
Older.
AKK.
The older-
I mean, KKK.
KKK days. Yeah, you must be incorrect. Sorry. No, Rachel Malone. She was really neat.
Where's that red phone to get more drinks?
Yeah, I think yours dried up.
Can we hit pause on this real fast?
No, we can't. We'll just keep
We're
going.
gonna keep going. All right.
And so
Fine
then,
then. I guess I'll go pee on the
so,
balcony.
so what are some of the
Oh, the traps?
The traps
Well,
of the constitutional carry.
Good question. I'll give you an example. If
Because
you-
I read through the whole, and I'll tell you something I noticed that was interesting. I read through the whole 32 pages of the new law. And it was basically like they just crossed out the word LTC.
Yeah.
It was like the LTC law, but they just crossed out the word LTC.
Well-
and it was like person, a person.
And there's a bunch of changes in other areas of the law
Not
too,
that
not
one.
just the gun.
Not that one.
So-
but in like the alcohol law or in
here's-
the
well, one of the new laws, hotels, right? It was a gray area because of the Texas.
And
Your
the-
home is your castle.
and you're renting and you're
If you're
paying money
renting
to
a
be
room,
here.
It was kind of
Right.
a gray area if they've got a sign posted, can you carry? So they clarified that, yes, if you're renting a room, it's your castle.
Yeah.
But one of the places people are going to get in trouble, if you have an LTC and you're dropping little Johnny off at school, you can have your gun in your car in the parking lot with an LTC.
Which I always do anyways without an LTC.
Well,
In Minecraft.
if
in Minecraft?
yeah, in Minecraft, if
Or Roblox.
if
I stay strapped in Roblox.
If you carry on school property without an LTC,
you
you're
can't
committing
carry
a
on school property
felony.
with an LTC anyways, can
Yes,
you?
you can. I just said that.
He just said that. Come on, fool.
Yes, you
I thought
can.
you could not.
You can carry on the
But not
property,
open
the
carry.
parking lot. You can open carry.
Okay.
You cannot go in the building.
Okay, that's what I was
The
thinking.
legal definition of premises is the building. Now it gets
Through
tricky.
an entrance.
Yeah, it gets tricky because school grounds where a sports activity or an activity, school grounds like Ratliff Stadium, graduation
Right,
or
right,
band
right,
practice
right, right.
or whatever,
Yeah.
that you cannot carry. But the school parking lot, the building's fixed. We're only-
no door.
So
Right.
now I can go to a school parking lot, open up my trunk and take out my AR and start messing with it and stuff, and I should be okay.
Shut up.
you don't have an LTC.
Reload his
But
magazines.
you don't need an LTC for a rifle, right?
You don't.
That's real constitutional.
Yeah, you
So
don't.
I can't. I'd be out there spinning.
You know, it's funny, that was-
Spinning your AR, yeah,
One
sure,
of
buddy.
one of the
Sure. I'd like to see
arguments.
that.
One of the arguments that we made about it when we're trying to get it passed was you can carry a rifle anywhere in Texas,
Right, exactly.
anywhere.
Already,
And-
for 100 years.
and forever.
Yeah.
And you know, going back, and for this reason alone, we should have canceled this law a long time ago.
There shouldn't be a law. It should just be
Do you
open.
know when the gun laws came in Texas?
1908, 1907, something like that.
No, okay for that.
Right after the Civil War, because we did not want scary black people to have
Scary black people. Hey, you
guns.
use my terms. That's my term. Scary black people.
Yeah, true story.
And
It's
people
sad.
hear me say that, and they think you're racist. I'm like, do you not
No,
understand the
I'm
context
just showing
of what
the
is
absurdity of
right?
it.
Exactly.
Right? But it was liberal Democrats, carpetbaggers, they were called.
Right.
Liberal Democrats,
It's the same
KKK.
thing. Hey, the same thing is with barbershop laws. And do you know in Tennessee they have laws against like hair braiding salons? Okay, so this is not racist, but black culture, they will have like salons where they go and just braid people's hair, okay, or do like designs in people's hair. And in like Tennessee and one or two, Kentucky maybe, and like some other state, they have not only like esthetician laws, but like you must get state certified for hair braiding.
So the reason they do that is because you look at these states with a large black population, and of course the black population because of socioeconomic problems, it is tied together with poverty.
Of course.
So black people historically find ways to make money off the books.
Right.
So then the government says
They want their cut.
Right.
No, you ain't.
Right.
Whatever it is you're doing, pay us our taxes.
Right.
Yeah.
Next thing they'll be legalizing the drug trade there just to get their tax cut.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
I do want to give a shout out to our
So you're drug dealer? Oh, I'm sorry.
our state rep here, Brooks Landgraf.
Okay.
He was one of the very big supporters from the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other pitfalls? So there's the school pitfalls.
Yeah.
Any other pitfalls
What
that
about
you
bars?
see?
What about bars?
What about bars?
Well, there's
Well, and what's the law? That's what I was wondering because I drink and I carry a lot. Okay, I'm just going to say that for personal protection reasons. Okay, because you never know who you're going to run into in a place like that. You never know who you're going to run into in a place like that.
One of the laws they changed today. There is a crime called carrying while intoxicated.
Okay.
And that law is going away.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
So if
Now,
you're
in-
home,
I wouldn't be opposed to keeping that law on the books though.
well, there's different reasons why. It was very nebulous.
But
You could
again,
blow-
and intoxicated is different than under the it's just
Well-
like DWI or DUI.
Well,
you could-
it's .08.
But
Yeah,
DWI
but-
is different than
No,
DUI
under this law, you could blow .0 and you'd be charged under this law.
because you have a beer in your hand.
And prescription drugs, marijuana,
You're under the influence.
under the influence, you could have been charged. So that's going away September 1st. But
Okay.
they
I
clearly
like it. I like it.
me
Chris
too.
doesn't like it.
They-
I like it.
Okay.
I mean, I get it.
Because
I don't.
I advocate for responsible gun ownership, and if you're intoxicated, you don't need to be in possession of a firearm.
I'll tell you
Now,
guys.
not legally, you need your firearm stripped, but you don't need it on your hip if you're intoxicated.
I'll tell you guys this. There's times when, and I don't get drunk often. Okay, but I drink often, but I don't get drunk often.
Wake up, drink.
Okay,
Pass
now
out.
if and when I happen to be drunk, which is few and far between. Maybe I'm at a wedding. Maybe it's something like that. My brother's getting married, or who knows? Wallace is getting married. Chris is getting married. Yes, ma'am.
Wallace is on his fifth
Anybody,
marriage.
and another Dos Equis, please.
Can I get two of them? Just two of each?
Two of each.
Yeah.
Yep, thank you.
I need to use the restroom.
Yeah.
We'll do a pause in just a second. Let me get this. Let me get this part out, and let's talk about it, and then we'll all go make a pee pee. So
Can I hold your hand?
we can play swords.
Hey, can we play three-way swords?
Three's crowds on swords, dude. Okay, here's what I was going to say, guys. Is that me as a gun owner?
That hurt my feelings.
Me as a gun owner and as a drinker, I know that there's a time when like I should put this gun away. I don't need to carry this right now. I know that.
There's also a lot of people that don't.
If and when, I get that. But also, if you go back to the fact that we have constitutional carry, and I'm talking about rifles and shotguns. If we have that constitutional carry, then even though there's people that don't, we should still honor the fact that we respect people's decision making.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
there's a time for my own personal safety when I'll say, I'm not going to carry this gun in my pocket anymore. I'm going to put it over here in my car seat, or I'm going to go put it in my cabinet, or I'm going to go put it somewhere else. And that's my decision to make. And I make that in the few and far between times that I know that, hey, I'm going to go here, I'm going to party, and it's a totally safe place. Or I'm going to a wedding, and I'm gonna, then I'll say, okay, I'm not gonna carry my gun at this time, and that's my decision. And I know that it's because of my level of being impaired that is leading me to that decision. But I don't. But on the flip side of that, I can drink 10 beers and not be impaired at all, or not have any gun safety, lack of gun safety at all, or including lack of situational awareness, or how do I do conflict resolution? how do I do conflict resolution? Just because I've had 5 beers doesn't mean that I can't still handle a gun or still have conflict resolution. Yeah. But it's up to me to say, okay, I'm going to get smashed at this wedding, and so I'm going to put my gun away.
So the thing is,
so I appreciate the law. Mm-hmm. I appreciate the law giving the discretion to the user. Mm-hmm. But it's still up to any cop to say you're drunk, and you can beat the rap, but you can't beat the ride. And I've beat the rap many times, but I've never beat the ride. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, you can't beat the ride, period. So, and you're right, and I am a constitutionalist, but in the Constitution, no part of the Constitution ever says, but this part is void if you're drunk.
Right.
So,
your right to self-defense.
But it's like I was talking to you about earlier. I wouldn't say I'm an anti-government guy, but I do not like regulation or anything, but at some point, too much is too much. But hey, guys, we're going to take a break.
Real quick, y'all won't even know. We'll be right back.
Sit down and go pee together. We're going to gossip.
Oh, my God.
3, 2, 1. Right now.
Boom.
We're starting. Okay, everybody. Hey, once again, we all went and had a little party break, and we're here at the lovely downtown Marriott in Odessa, Texas. And
I want to say that was the cleanest bathroom I'd ever used in my whole life.
Yeah, nice place, very nice place, impeccable facilities. We were talking about the pitfalls that are written into the constitutional, quote unquote, constitutional carry bill. Anything else that you want to mention on that? Anything? Then we talked about the drinking, and you said that while intoxicated law has gone away, but isn't there laws that are like you cannot carry while you have a beer in your hand? Like, isn't there such laws? There's nothing like that on the books?
No, sir.
Because people, that's an urban legend and people believe that.
Yeah.
Now here's another one that I want to mention on the open carry law is there a type of holster requirement? Because I read all 32 pages of it and I did not see a holster requirement.
There's not a type, but there is a requirement for
a holster. Right. So I can have a retention holster.
Right.
I don't need a strap.
Right.
Okay, I can have a.
Let me.
I can have a Kydex holster.
Yeah, let me just explain that.
Okay, please do for our listeners.
What Matt's talking about, retention holster, means if somebody sees your gun on your hip, they can't just walk up to you and pull it out and steal your gun. It has happened across the country. People have been shot.
Few and far between.
No, it actually has happened.
Yeah, I'm saying few and far between.
I can send you a link with about 150 instances.
That's fine,
of it.
but if you look at how many shootings take place,
right,
that's few and far between.
And it's typically, it goes back to, if you're carrying a gun, you have to be
self-aware, situational
of your
awareness.
situation,
right?
And you're not in those cases, anyway.
And so the new law doesn't have any requirements.
No,
just a holster.
And there never was.
And that was an urban legend that I noticed as well.
What there was a requirement by the state in the LTC class. We had to talk about it. The instructors had to mention it. If you are going to open carry, we suggest a retention holster, which is just common sense.
Right.
And
now I'm going to wear straight Kydex because I'm going to have a situational awareness.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to come up behind me and grab me. Trust me.
I'm going to carry an old Crown Royal bag.
Yeah.
There you go.
On a chain on your hip and shit.
I thought you carried in your purse though.
I carry
your purse in your purse
in my prison wallet.
Oh my God.
Kind of right up in there.
Okay.
What about like you said? That's a valid question. In his pocket.
Yeah, you can. It's highly not recommended.
But is it legal?
Yep.
Okay.
The only thing it says.
That's all I needed to know.
Well, just to clarify,
please do. That's why you're here.
If you open carry, it must be in a holster.
But in your pocket's obviously concealed.
Yeah. If it's concealed, you can carry.
Makes sense.
And then the other thing they changed too. The old law said if you open carry, had to be in a holster on your belt or your shoulder. Shoulder holster or belt.
Which a shoulder holster is terrible. They're terrible.
So now you can carry wherever you want.
But of course some idiot down at the state house is like, well, what about my shoulder holster?
What about my ankle holster?
And, Matt mentioned bars earlier too. I wanted to throw something else out there because everybody thinks you cannot carry in a bar.
Right.
You can carry in a bar unless they have a 51% sign.
Then it's on you.
If they do not have 51%
or properly displayed.
Yeah,
yes, that too.
It has to be on a contrasting background.
So there are going to be 2 new signs, new gun signs.
Really?
Yes.
There's new gun signs this year, people. Y'all hear that?
Yeah. There's going to be 2 new gun signs. And unfortunately, one of them I think we will see more of. And it is, I can't remember it's a It's a 4603 sign, and it is no guns.
You know the funny thing?
Period.
You know the funny thing, Wallace, as you mentioned that, 4603, 30-6, 3630, the more signs, the more easy it is that for you, you'll never beat the, you beat the rat, but you won't beat the right, is to go down and say, oh, all these signs, I was confused, I don't know, like, what does all this mean?
It's on the sign, Matt.
Right, I get that,
The only excuse is if you can't read.
I get that. I understand that.
It's unthinkable.
I understand that, but many legal cases have been won by convoluted and too much coming into the citizen. Many legal cases have been won on the basis of there's too much.
So let me finish the signs.
Go ahead.
Because the other sign, you remember the blue notice sign? It says notice.
It's just a notice.
Right.
It says the unlicensed possession of a gun on these premises. And that sign is actually going away. In small letters it says TABC. That's going away, but there's a new sign, 30-5, that has virtually the same language, and what that sign says is...
I'm getting confused right now by all the signs.
Well, what it says...
Is the sign just like a reminder, basically?
No, it's very specific. It says the unlicensed possession on these premises is a felony. So if you're carrying without an LTC,
that's on you.
You cannot carry, right? And it's a felony.
I think the
So
now it's punishable up to a felony, but what I've also read is that they're like instructed to write you a misdemeanor.
Yeah, it depends on the circumstances. But here's the other big difference on the signage. If you have an LTC, and the difference is with carrying with or without, if you have an LTC, there's only 3 signs that apply to you. The 51%, 30-6, which is no concealed carry, 30-7, which is no open carry, period. If you're carrying without an LTC, any no gun sign, a handwritten piece of paper that says no guns, it's legally enforceable.
But also, my understanding, and I'm not the chairman of the Texas Handgun Association.
That's a big dick like Wallace over here.
But my understanding has always been, my operation has always been that if I walk in anywhere and they have a sign that's just like the Ghostbusters sign with no guns, then they're telling me no guns, and it's up to me to violate that on my own will. And so it's just like a verbal from somebody. Hey, I see your gun. Your guns aren't allowed, so please take your gun out of here.
But if you have an LTC, you can ignore that sign.
Interesting.
It's not legally enforceable.
Interesting.
In Texas, there's only 3 signs that are legally enforceable. And you mentioned some key parts. It must be posted at every entrance.
Like I went to Cheddar's, and you don't see any of their signs until you go to the bathroom, and then on the hallway in the bathroom.
By the bar.
But behind the bar. But it's behind the bar.
You're kidding me.
No, you're in the bathroom. You can't even see the bar. It's just the hallway where the bathrooms are. They have their state operations license, they have their sales tax permit, and they have all their handgun.
Whoa.
No. The thing is
it 51%?
The bar area would
but the thing is, it's the same entity.
Because it's the same entity.
But what you must understand is there's a lot of businesses that for political reasons they want to post those things, but for their geographical location, they keep them in a hidden location because they don't want to perturb those particular
lose
customers.
Business,
right.
Because they would lose my business.
Right. So there's many businesses that intentionally there's many businesses that have the sign posted, but they also intentionally post it away from the front entrances and things like that, so that they don't lose those customers.
So it is not legally enforceable.
Exactly. And I'm not saying that against Cheddar's. What I'm saying though is that there's many businesses that choose to play it both ways, to say, oh, well, here's our signs posted back here in the back hallway by the restrooms.
Yeah.
But so if you're rowdy or they see your gun hanging out, then they can.
Posting laws don't
then
say
they can
back
in
the hallway. They say on the main entrance.
Right. But they play it both ways to satisfy their corporate requirements.
Office,
Right. So that goes on a lot. That goes on a lot at national chains. And you'll see local restaurants that have no posting.
So when I was talking about the signs, the one that the sign that says no guns, period.
Right.
What we see today what tells you that today is a 30-06 and a 30-07 sign posted next to each other, which is no open carry, no concealed carry, means no
Both.
guns.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now they can replace that with this new sign, 4603,
Which I'm confused.
and we're going to see more of those signs.
Yeah,
with
we
this
will.
constitutional
We will.
carry.
We will.
And the political side of it, people
Right.
are saying, yeah, all these idiots
And the corporate
are running
side of
around
it.
with guns.
The national chain corporate side of it.
So
Best,
we are-
Best Buy,
Right.
Academy,
Target,
Target, right?
Walmart, even Walmart's
exactly,
popping
exactly,
up with them.
exactly.
You know
HEB.
what? Just to interrupt, I had this.
Nah.
I took a little nap, and I had this
Nah.
dream that
No interrupting.
that I had a pistol on my hip, and I just totally wasn't even thinking about it. And I went to Walmart and I was crouched down looking at something, and in my dream I remember getting hoisted up in the air in a chokehold, and it was
By Andre the Giant.
it was Wallace, but it was you, but it wasn't you.
It
really
wasn't
weird.
me.
But
No, it
and
was not me.
It was a group of cops that were swarming me because
I
had
am
a
not
gun
in
on
your
my head.
dreams. So, well, I don't know. Maybe
And 'cause
I
it was like I was half snoozing, you know what I mean? Half
Yeah.
snoozing. So
You're dozing.
so in my dream, I was like, oh shit, it's because you're not supposed to carry guns in Walmart. And in my dream, a cop was choking me out because I had a gun because they're trying to disarm me. So,
But-
and that's where I remembered. Oh yeah, after that shooting in El Paso,
But you-
Walmart said no guns, period.
But you can carry guns unless the signs are posted. You can carry.
Hey,
guns.
this is a good transition into some national real fast. Okay, because you're talking about, okay. What about that fucking guy that was on the Capitol that was throwing dollars out of his car and said he had a bomb in it?
I
It
just said
happened
there was others, yeah.
happened just 2
But he said
days
there was
ago,
like
2 or 3
5
days
other-
ago.
Yeah, he said there was a group of other people.
It was just total. If you ever want to talk about, because I was thinking about El Paso, and I was like, if you ever want to talk about like a deep state like plant
Dude,
or like an operation,
I knew it was. One phrase he said made me know that it was a deep state plan.
What did he say?
The South will rise again. As soon as he said it like
yeah,
that,
just
I was
stupid shit like that.
I was like, no.
See, I
I'm
didn't.
out.
I don't watch TV.
I don't
so
either. I don't either.
didn't
He
see
said in
it.
his truck said that's it.
But-
Biden, you're done. No,
And it
shit.
happened at it just so happened at the Capitol where the Capitol riot, quote unquote,
He was in the
happened.
Library of Congress. Congress wasn't even in session.
Well,
What
it's
was he
just-
doing? Throwing dollar bills out?
Yes, he had all these dollar bills on the ground. It's just weird. It was just really weird.
He said
said
he had a bomb.
bomb?
He had this detonator in his hand. He was threatening the cops. He said
Did
He had like a propane tank in the back of his. Like you can't detonate a propane tank. You know what I'm
Did
saying?
they kill him?
No.
he surrendered peacefully. He said there was 5 other people. There was a bunch of
But
them.
it just had fucking false flag written all over it.
Yep.
All over it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And here we are, and here we are with the Afghanistan fiasco. And let us divert your attention. Don't you need our security? Don't you see we got these guys here at the Capitol? So like, here's where we are in the state of national. Is like Donald Trump wanted to pull out of Afghanistan as well, but I think Donald Trump would have left like a couple thousand troops.
He would have done it right. He would have had the troops pull out everybody, pull out all the equipment. And then
Right,
say,
right,
"Sorry,
right,
the
right,
skeleton
right,
crew of
right,
1,000 troops,
right.
and that's it.
And here's
You
what I
know-
find very interesting. Russia still has an embassy. Every other country on planet Earth still has an embassy there, but we don't even have an embassy. We evacuated our embassy staff just like Vietnam. When even Joe Biden said we're not going to do it like Vietnam, it's not going to be like Vietnam. Like after 20 years of war in Afghanistan, we're not even going to have an embassy? You telling me we can't secure an embassy? And here's the other thing. We've been negotiating with the Taliban over this time.
Yeah.
We've been negotiating
We
with
could
them.
have left 5 Marines at that embassy.
We
that
could have
were
said, hey
insecure.
Taliban, we're going to pull out, and we're going to let you just come in, and we're going to expect you to run this thing the right way, and we're going to stay here. But instead, we're the only country that turned tail. Every other country is still there. We're the only ones.
Well, let's just
We're
clarify.
the only ones that turned tail.
Let's just clarify that and say in recent history,
Right.
because the Russians
Right.
Yeah, the Russians.
pretty much did the same.
Yeah.
But the Russians have an embassy.
The Russians were the one that stirred all this shit.
No,
up.
the Russians fought in Afghanistan for
Well,
years.
Afghanistan has been a hotbed. I've
Yeah.
even went back to like the British, like when the British conquered like India and Pakistan, and the reason they conquered it was because of the spices and the silk trade.
Yeah.
That's why they wanted India and Pakistan,
Silk
and it was
Road.
very powerful. And then it was also a great base for the Indian Ocean for their naval empire. And they tried to go to Afghanistan, and like there's a British Afghan war
Yeah.
from like the 1800s, and so it's like it's just that region is like. You can say like the typical liberal line of like, oh, it will never be conquered and blah blah blah. It can be conquered,
Yeah,
okay.
definitely can.
But even the British Empire didn't have the political will. How much are we
Because
gonna?
there's no like real legal reason to do it, so you can't just like throw all your
Right.
forces at it.
And there's nothing valuable there except opium.
Well,
And now it's become to light. Let's
Min-
fill us in,
minerals.
Wallace. Fill
Yeah.
us in.
so I posted a thing the other day about a meme about Afghanistan being rich in lithium. And
Probably if you got lithium, you probably got uranium and shit
well,
too.
a lot of minerals.
Right.
Yeah, a lot
heavy
of
metals, like
yeah.
heavy metals, right?
Yeah, and somebody, challenged me and said, "No, that's fake."
That's
and,
racist.
Well, anyway, I went and dug a little deeper, and it turns out, yes, they
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
And so,
But their CNN meme, CNN probably has this website we don't even know about. It's like cnn.memes.com.
Yeah.
And it's like, come here for all your favorite memes to counter a fucking conservatives and shit, or to counter the fucking right. Like,
So-
wouldn't surprise me.
let me tell you all, I'm a little
The
bit
left
older.
can't meme, so no, you're wrong. The left can't meme.
Of course they can't. That's why they have a meme server.
I'm a little bit older than y'all, and I lived this.
It's like we
I'm
ran
actually-
these bros out.
I'm actually a Vietnam era veteran, and I remember very distinctly the fall of Saigon, the iconic photos of the helicopters. Yeah, the helicopters being pushed off.
The Hueys and the Chinook. Yeah.
And the boat people, 400,000 people lost their lives trying to evacuate from Vietnam. And Cambodia, the killing fields. the
right.
movie,
Cam
it's-
Pol Pot and shit.
Yeah, so that power vacuum gets filled, and
Always.
usually by dictators, and they killed over 1 million people there in Cambodia. So we're going to see the same thing here, and we're already seeing it.
It's tragic.
One of the things that I think is so
Maybe
ironic.
it took 2,000 troops. Just like we did in Japan and Germany and Korea.
Yeah.
And we've turned those places into pillars of the 21st century
Economic
and,
engines.
and modern life and democracy and our
Yeah.
allies. We've turned them into those places. And after 20 years of investment, we couldn't even be bothered.
Yeah.
Of course, Donald Trump wanted to pull out. What Donald Trump wanted to stop was the combat operations.
Right.
But I don't think that he wanted to pull out every single last troop. I don't believe that. And here's something that I thought about, guys. You guys might not have thought of this, but I think that the Democrat deep state thought that we're going to pull out and it's going to be more, it's just going to be extra points against Donald Trump because this is his pullout. But I think that they thought that. I think that in their stupid little lizard brains, they thought that we're gonna complete this Donald Trump pullout, and it's going to be more political points that we score against Donald Trump. I really think that they thought that.
I hear liberals saying that online, like
This is Donald Trump's pullout. Yeah.
And then-
It's like,
and
no,
then-
it's
and
not.
Then, and then conservatives quickly tell them,
No.
Donald Trump would have done it like this.
No.
Yes,
no,
he did negotiate
no.
this, but under Donald Trump, no, nobody would have died.
And
Not
you-
even
and-
the Taliban,
and-
because they wouldn't have tried it.
Here's another thing. You can't underestimate the spite of the military. The military was telling Joe Biden we need to leave people here. So if Joe Biden was saying no because they're going to operate this Democrat game plan where it's going to hurt Donald Trump, then they're going to think they're going to spite the military, and the military is going to say, well, fuck you. We're going to make this as painful as fucking possible. You don't want to listen to us, then fuck you. We're going to make it as painful as fucking possible. And that's how you end up with a C-17 with people hanging on it,
Yeah.
flying out of the fucking airport. That was intentional. That was intentional. Are you telling me the United States Air Force couldn't have had a security team securing that C-17? Are you telling me?
They'll take helicopters and they'll run them sideways to get people off the fucking
Are you telling me that we couldn't have secured that C-17, but instead the military chose to have that? That was the military saying, "Fuck you, Joe Biden." I believe. I firmly believe. Okay, because so follow me. You got separate elements. You got the Democrat Joe Biden political camp saying we're going to turn this into a points against Donald Trump. He wanted to pull out. We're going to go ahead with it, and this is going to be us scoring points against Donald Trump, which was stupid.
And it's going to look bad on him.
And then the military saying, actually, this is going to look bad on all of us, and we want to stay here for their military-industrial complex reasons, of course, but also saying, if you're not going to listen to us and let us have even a single troop here, then we're going to make this look as bad as possible for you, Joe Biden, and for you, Democrat complex. And so there's those two factions going against each other within the administration, and Donald Trump's just out there on his own. He's not even in power. He's not even in power.
The military loved Donald Trump.
Well, the military loved Donald Trump, but the brass didn't.
I mean, look at
the brass didn't.
Look at troops for the first time ever.
This is a decision by the brass. This is a decision by the brass to fuck Joe Biden. They could have had security for that C-17.
Yeah.
The Air Force has security squads.
They did have security.
Right, but not enough.
Yeah.
And there's no way you can tell me that you couldn't have secured that C-17.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that. You can't tell me that. Even if it has to go to live fire rounds, even if it has to go for the crew of that C-17 has small arms inside that C-17, and they could start launching tear gas. They can start doing things like that.
The windows for the cockpit hand crank, read out with your pistol.
Those when a C-17 lands, it has a security force.
Yeah.
You don't just put a C-17.
It's a $20 million bird.
You don't just put a C-17 in a hostile area without a security team that secures it on the ground.
Yeah.
And that security team has tear gas, live fire, all kinds of things. And that C-17 security team also probably comes with smaller birds. Yeah, C-130s, things like that that the entire C-130 is a security team.
Can I just say this?
A C-17 is a huge asset that one guy gets sucked into the engine. One guy holding on the wing gets sucked into the engine of that C-17, then you lose a $30 million. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So don't tell me that they didn't have that and they didn't know that. Don't tell me that.
They did. Their
don't tell me
overran,
that.
Wasn't it?
Their security was overran intentionally.
But they should have. There's no way it should have been like that. This was a shit show.
It was a shit show from top to bottom.
I just want to say this. I don't necessarily hate the Taliban. I'll say that right now.
I want to draw the parallel to getting overran to what we saw in Washington on January 6th. Mm-hmm. Because I have every belief that was planned too. We have video of the cops.
Or allowed. It might not have been planned, but it was allowed.
Yeah, opening the gate, waving people in.
Right.
I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, no. There's like video of the cops opening. Like they're like, come on in, guys, shaking hands with everybody. Like,
well, it comes to a point, if you haven't been given the assets to defend your position, then it comes to the point where you say, come on in, don't hurt me, but come on in, man.
The assets were offered, and Nancy Pelosi turned them down.
Right.
And Trump was laughed at because he offered 20,000 troops.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, they waited for it to happen. Then they turned the whole capital into a demilitarized zone for 3 months.
Yeah.
Or maybe still. It might still be.
Yeah. I know, they probably took it down.
For show. Yeah. Just for the show.
The fences might still be up. The Catino wire and everything might still be up.
And I support those rioters. I support everything that they did. I support all of it 100%.
I was this close to going.
We had a guy that we interviewed him. He said his guesstimate was 3 million people. The news, every time the news talks about it, the number goes down. 100,000, they're at now 100,000.
40,000, whatever.
So, 8 people.
Jenny Cudd and Elias, whatever.
And I tried to reach out to them so many times, but Elias don't answer the phone, and Jenny Cudd's impossible to get in touch with.
I was going to go with them.
Nice.
Good thing you did it.
No, I know. Thank God, right?
Yeah,
even I've been interviewed by the FBI 2 times.
He is here as he was a political asylee here from Brazil because they tried to kill him. Brazil is going communist.
Brazil's out of control. Brazil. I don't know if it's communist.
No,
I don't know if it's communist.
Socialist.
It might be communist on paper or socialist on paper, but it's more like just like a classic dictatorship.
Yeah, it's a dictatorship.
Just like a classic bully regime.
Yeah.
You know, they're not like executing the flawless communist ideology.
The government attacked his house with a firebomb.
Oh wow!
That doesn't surprise me. No, that doesn't surprise me at all. Again, to me, that's just bullying.
For the poor people of the country, socialism and communism both equal. Your ass is poor and starving.
Yeah. That's a
go
good
to the hospital.
That's a good statement to end this all with in our whole podcast. Say that again, Chris. Communism, socialism.
It's all the same to the poor people that.
The end is always the same.
Your ass is starving.
You own nothing. everything belongs to the state. Your life is worth nothing.
And the proletariat gets rich.
Yeah, yeah,
Richer.
yeah. And you'll be a speck of dust in the dustbin of history, dude.
So real quick too, let's talk about Cuba. Talking about world stage, man.
Yeah.
I'm not up to date on Cuba.
Well, they're having major issues, man. They're
I know
starving.
they are.
They're starving.
And that was like, the pinnacle of socialism for not too long ago was the pinnacle of socialism. And one thing that I do keep up with is like military news and stuff, and like the Havana syndrome. You know what the Havana syndrome is? Is like they're targeting our military personnel with like sound waves,
Yes.
and like laser
Bioelectronic
waves and stuff
warfare,
like that. Yeah, and that's starting to happen in Germany now.
And it's happened at other embassies.
It's starting to
too.
happen in Germany
It
now.
happened in Russia.
That's the Russian giving them that
It
technology.
happened in Russia.
All you gotta do is
Actually-
target somebody with a laser beam or with a sound wave,
And
and
like,
like,
sound waves, you get these migraines.
yeah, and
I
it's permanent
actually-
damage. It's
I
permanent
actually
damage.
saw this. I was at DARPA, the Defense Activity Research. It's
Are you cleared to tell us this?
a hidden little facility in New Mexico,
Navy SEALs are going to come
out,
after you.
out in the middle of nowhere. But I went there. We were testing something else. But I saw this.
Is NASA's SWAT team going to come after you for
Or the
this?
bell.
I saw this.
USPS SWAT team.
I saw this machine. It's basically it's a huge,
big disc.
a huge laser, but there's no visible signal, and all it is a sound wave.
Yeah.
And what
Well,
it
that
does,
technology started was to disperse crowds and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, and riot control. And what it does is it makes you nauseous. You
But you
throw
can
up.
turn up the knobs
yeah.
for permanent damage and stuff,
Yeah.
and that's what they're doing
And
to
they
our
can
guys.
scramble your brain
That's what
cells.
they're doing to our guys.
You'll get brain
Yeah,
tumors.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's bad. So that's going on out there nationally, people. So where do you go?
The whole thing with Cuba,
Madagascar is looking pretty good right now. I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
maybe we can.
Thailand.
Thailand.
Philippines.
So, the whole thing with Cuba, and a lot of people get mad at me, like, look, I care about them, but I care about America more. Like, we need to get our shit fixed before we can.
To expound on that, my wife was like, "Well, what do we do about those people?" I'm like, "Fuck those people in Afghanistan, dude. They can fix their own shit.
They need to. They have to.
It's not up to us.
They had a military of 300,000 that surrendered to, what was it, 70,000 Taliban?
Whatever,
Then it's like,
10,000.
No,
Yeah.
you don't want it. They don't want it.
And my wife's like, "Well, why can't we accept those people?" I'm like, "Okay, those people have no money. They have no plane ticket. When they land, where do they go? They have no money. They have no job.
Well-
they have no car. They have no nothing."
The thing that really concerns me too about the refugees we're going to bring here from Afghanistan, we know beyond any doubt the Afghan army and the Afghan police were infiltrated,
Compromised.
right?
Yeah.
And they
Right.
estimate 10%.
Right.
So these,
Exactly.
100,000
Exactly.
refugees.
Have you seen the pictures of the Taliban fighters? There's a guy, a little slim guy, and he's carrying the head of a guy's head that he's severed, and then there's a picture of him. I think at like the Dallas airport or something as a refugee.
Oh,
and it's
yeah, I
the
did see
exact
that.
same
I did see
guy.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what we got. Okay.
Yeah.
So if 10%, that means out of 100, 10 of them. That means out of 10 people, 1 of them.
Yeah.
Is that what we want?
Hey, I saw the Saturday Night Live skit once, and it was so funny. It was about Taliban fighters that were infiltrating in the U.S., or maybe it was Key and Peele. I think it was Key and Peele, and they were talking, and they're like, they're talking about like how much they loved it, and then like their guy came. I don't know. It was funny, but they totally changed.
The main
from,
guy
like,
came.
They changed from like they were selling like falafels or something,
Right.
And they're talking about
Loving
how much
it.
they made.
Yeah. And then the main guy, the main fucking kingpin comes and he's like,
And then he switches too. So then he makes a
Oh.
falafel truck that does that he's putting them out of business. Like he's pissed off. He's yelling at them, and they tell him that did they tell him their profit margins? And he's like, yelling at him, just stops and says, "Did you just say 70%?" They're like, yes.
I mean, that is kind of true though, dude. Like it really is true. And like, hey, you get the freedom to do whatever you want, bro. Hey, you wanna buy a Honda Civic? You get a Honda Civic,
Well,
bro.
falafel
Hey,
truck, that
CD.
makes
Hey, he got a CD. My neighbor, he have a tape. I have a CD.
Yeah.
My neighbor have a fan only. I have an air conditioning. So that's pretty much it. Let's put a fork in this.
Okay, man. Yeah, we're coming.
Yeah,
up
we're
on
done.
that. So yeah, that'll do.
Well, thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for coming once again. One of our supporters here, Wallace Dunn.
It's always fun. Wallace, what's that event going on?
Oh
That
yeah,
event?
next Wednesday.
Next
It's
Wednesday?
Next or this?
it's next Wednesday.
Oh, I was thinking it was this one.
What's the date?
It's this
It's
one,
in September?
this coming Wednesday.
Okay, it's this coming Wednesday, so it's
Yeah,
it's still in August.
3 days from
Okay.
now.
Okay, 3 days ago, sorry.
It's
August
the-
or Alan West.
Yeah, he's going to be speaking, and there's a couple other people. There's a state senator coming, but it's Oil and Gas Workers Association.
It ain't Cortland, is it?
No.
Good.
But it's a state senator. If you put that in Google, it'll come up, and you can buy a ticket to go. And you need to, because I think they're going to.
And it's in Odessa, Texas.
Yeah, it's at the
right over
Copper Rose on Grant. It's like 450 Grant Street.
Nice.
Yeah,
We'll
25
try to get our
bucks.
podcast produced in time to let people know.
Yeah.
I thought we were live. That's what I was
we don't
asking.
go live. Go over here.
I wish we were
rich
live.
old white Republican dropping N-bombs every 5 minutes. We can't go live.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
not me.
He'll say some stupid shit like that, dude.
Yeah. And then now you got rebutted. Now people are going to say,
I did not say the N word on that program.
that program.
And I did not have sex with that
Exactly.
woman.
You
Exactly,
deny the
exactly,
allegations? That's
exactly.
how he denies the allegations. So, anyways, all right, no closing thought. I got to get that back under wraps, the closing thoughts. Those are really
We don't need your closing thoughts,
Yeah,
dude.
so
Peace
that's it.
out.
Peace in the Middle
Stay
East.
black, stay
3,
proud.
2, 1.
guys.
Bye, everybody.
Stay black, stay